Hello. Hi guys, happy Monday. Trust that all is well with all of you. I hope you would have had a relaxing, rejuvenating, some measure of self-care, something happening this weekend gone. So I hope that you would have done something to revitalize and rejuvenate your mind, body, soul, and spirit. Today I went to get a full body massage. Every masseuse needs a masseuse. And so I hope that you would have done something because my body has been so under it doing the most. Of course, you know, housework never dies and never goes away. In fact, I believe it multiplies. The children are getting bigger. They're using more clothes, and so your loads have multiplied. It's no longer 4, but now 6. Um, 6 loads for the week, and you're cooking more food because you have growing boys. As my son liked to tell me, Mommy, I'm a growing boy, and so they're eating more, and so the work load is multiplying. So for you moms, for you entrepreneurs that are moms, you entrepreneurs in general, because I have another friend, she just be doing the most this. Sometimes I think to myself, well, girl, this is not company that I want to be workhorses, but we matching energy here. And she told me recently that, you know, she too is a masseuse, and somebody she called somebody over to give her a massage, and how painful it was because her body had so many knots, and how much needed, how much her body needed it. And so for those of you that your weeks look like mine, and that you bake your own bread, you don't buy it, you cook the food, you wash the clothes, you clean the house, and there's so many things to be done on your to-do list, and then somewhere there you realize, oh, I'm not on this list. Me not on this list. And when it gets to that point, you need to take time and say, boop, pause. We're not finna do this, and take a minute just to pour back into your well and to replenish, so that you're able to effectively give and pour out again to all those that you love and take care of, so that you do so without resentment and without anger and without bitterness. Because somehow, even though we thank God, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't I never intend to hide or to sugarcoat anything on this platform to give a appearance of myself. Sometimes you could find yourself in the midst of being very, very grateful for the blessings, because I'm happy, very happy, very blessed, very privileged to be a mother. But you could find yourself from time to time, when it gets so heavy because of all that life is throwing at you, at the same time, to think to yourself, God, God, I beg. So if you are in that position, or your needles have dialed to that end of your ministry in motherhood, your ministry in the ministry of wifehood, in the ministry of entrepreneurship, in the ministry of in your singleness, um, there are sometimes we don't look at where we are presently as opportunity for God to use us and to minister to those that we have in our spaces and places, based on the titles and positions that you hold. And you might think, oh, well, I'm single, I don't have a husband, I don't have a parrot and a stick, I don't have no children, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know the other. But there might be some other young person looking at you, trying to figure out how to successfully model Christianity, successfully model a successful single person, and they might be looking at you, and that, my dear, is ministry as well. So in whatever position or place that you hold right now, you might be an auntie to many or uncle to many because you don't have your own children. Do that thing exceptionally well, and to do that, it means that you have to be in a place where you are filled to be able to pour out. So today, Didn't plan to go all there, but it ties in very well with what I am about to share. So we are going to talk about David today, jumping right into it so that we don't do another 20-minute video like we did last week. So I am reading 1 Samuel chapter 16, and I'm going to read the whole thing. So the Israelites wanted to have a king backstory, like everybody else. So Samuel was so grieved, and God told them, this is not about you, buddy. This is me. It's me that I want. Don't frustrate yourself for that. They want a king, I will give them a king. And so God gave them Saul. Saul got beside himself and decided, well, I'm going to do this thing, and decided to do it his own way and not follow the instructions and the guidance that God was giving, the guidance that Samuel gave, and did his own thing. And God decided, you're doing your own thing. This is not how we finna do this. I'm going to replace you. And so it was Samuel's job to find Saul's replacement. So Samuel has been given instruction to go to Jesse's house, which takes us to chapter 16 of 1 Samuel, and I am going to read from verse 7. So the previous verses before that, Jesse got to Samuel's house, and when when Samuel saw Jesse's first son, Samuel thought to himself, this had to be him. Look at this boy. And God said, no, brother, there's not how we're going to do this. There's not how we picking the next king. So verse 7 leads off with that. It says, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance for his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and had him pass in front of Samuel. But Samuel said, the Lord has not chosen this one either. Jesse then had Shammah pass by, but Samuel said, nor has the Lord chosen this one. Jesse had 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. But Samuel said to him, the Lord has not chosen these. So he asked Jesse, are these all the sons you have? There is still the youngest, Jesse answered. He is tending the sheep. Samuel said, send for him. We will not sit down until he arrives. So he sent for him and had him brought in. He was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and handsome features. Then the Lord said, rise and anoint him. This is the one. So Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers. And from that day on, So Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers. And from that day on, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David. Samuel then went to Ramah. Now the Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord tormented him. Saul's attendant said to him, see, an evil spirit from God is tormenting you. Let our Lord command his servant here to search for someone who can play the lyre. He will play when the evil spirit from God comes on you, so you will feel better. So Saul said to his attendants, find someone who plays well and bring him to me. Stick a pin right there. So David, a shepherd boy, was first in the field tending to his sheep, minding his own business, and was called and was anointed to be the next king. Went back and do his business. Saul, who God has replaced, who God has removed from the position, but he's still there. The Spirit of God was replaced with an evil spirit that was tormenting him. And one of his attendants suggested, when this happened to you, just get somebody who could play music real good, and that will help you. So Saul said to his attendants, find someone who plays well, not someone who plays. Find someone who plays well, and bring him to me. One of the servants answered, I have seen a son of Jesse of Bethlehem, who knows how to play the lyre. He is a brave man and a warrior. He speaks well and is a fine-looking man, and the Lord is with him. Then Saul sent messengers to Jesse and said, send me your son David, who is with sheep. So Jesse took a donkey loaded with bread, a skin of wine, and a young goat, and sent them with his son David to Saul. David came to Saul and entered his service. Saul liked him very much, and David became one of his armor-bearers. Then Saul sent word to Jesse, saying, allow David to remain in my service, for I am pleased with him. After reading this, I said to myself, first of all, this boy was doing his business, and God called him out, highlight him, anointed him, and was with him from that moment on. The Spirit of the Lord was with David from that time onward. David went back doing what he was accustomed doing and doing it well. Saul said, find somebody who could play well and bring that person to me. The attendant said, I know somebody. I know somebody who does play this particular instrument very well. He is strong, he's well spoken, he is good in appearance. That means David used to be carrying himself well. That's the man. They sent for him. Saul sent and asked his father for him. Jesse sent him, load up a donkey and sent him to Saul, and then Saul sent back word to Jesse and asked him, could he please remain with me because I am very well pleased with him. I want us to note, however, 1, David was not doing anything related to being king. David was nowhere near the palace because they always had to go and send for that boy in the bush. David was doing what he was doing in the bush on his lair very well. Very well. He was doing that thing in what's the word it is use? That word is evading me, right? In obscurity. Behind God's back in the bush. Doing his thing very well. But it was known that he was doing his thing very well. And is in the king's palace that his name was called for doing the thing that he was doing very well in obscurity in the back of God's back, in the bush behind, so minding his own business, doing that thing very well. So I'm going back to those of you, so not last week, not the week before, the week before that. Those of you like the Shunammite woman with the cruiser oil, your tapache, your massage business, your salon, your spa, your handcrafting business where you're making bags and so on. Those of you with those things that might seem small and insignificant, do it very well, because you don't know who might taste your drink. You don't know who might buy your bag. You don't know who might walk into your spa and go and tell somebody, oh, I know somebody who does do facials real good. I know a girl who does do microlocks real good. I know a girl who is a remote assistant and she does an exceptional job, and you might be minding your business behind God's back in your quiet little space where you ain't doing it for no show, you ain't doing it for no glam, you ain't doing it for nothing, but you are doing that thing very well. Do it very well. You have no idea where your goods or service or your response to somebody, the way you would have helped somebody, you don't know what your thing might do for somebody and who might take note of that and tell somebody of significance. That might bring you, change your location, change your status. The boy moved from being a shepherd boy to an armor bearer for the king. Don't mind the king was fired, but he was still the king's armor bearer because he had a mindset that I am going to do whatever I'm doing with excellence and I'm going to do it very well. That 1. 2, that thing that he did very well brought him into the place and the position that he was anointed for. David was anointed to be king to replace the present king, and you end up playing music for the king that you're going to replace. You do not know where that thing that you're doing very well might take you and bring you into the position and place that God foreordained, already anointed you for. You have no idea. Do the thing that you're doing very well. You're throwing retreats, do it very well. When people say, oh, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. I wasn't going all of that. I remember a friend came to one of my spa day events and she leaving, she paid, she came, she ate, she enjoyed. And then when everybody was leaving and she was walking out, she grabbed me across quietly, madam, you do too much there. All you could do was give us this, and that would have been enough. You do too much. Do that thing that you are doing very well, because you do not know that the purpose for which God would have anointed you for, that thing God would have anointed you for, that position, place that God would have anointed you for, that thing that you are doing very well might land you in the very place that God anointed you for, serving serving the person that you are going to replace. You might be a janitor, you might be a admin assistant for somebody. You don't know if 4, 5, 7 years down the line you might be replacing the very person that you are serving right now. Do that thing that you are good at very well. Very well. Dress well. Show up to the office well dressed. Oh, she's just the secretary. I remember when I was young, I was about 19 or 20, and I was in Grenada working for this company, and the position that I applied for was the position they put as vacant was not the position that I applied for. The position that I applied for, they gave it the wrong title. So what they needed was an office assistant to run and drop this envelope here, drop that envelope here, do this, clean the kitchen, make coffee for whoever needed it. That is what I was hired for. That was not the position that I applied for. And somehow things got mixed up along the line, and I remember walking into the office after getting the job, and one of the ladies said to me in the kitchen, "You didn't apply for this position?" I said, "No, I did not." She said, "Well, girl, when I see you walking, I say, like, she ain't know what she come here to do." I said, "This is not the position that I applied for." But bet your bottom dollar, every day, of course it was a misunderstanding, but every day I showed up, suited up, well dressed for the position that I was operating in. You do not know when you get to the place, that thing that you are doing very well, show up for it very well, dress for it very well, articulate yourself very well, and do that thing very well, because you don't know where that place will lead you, and you do not know what that could take you into. So my encouragement for us today, very briefly, very quickly, is to do whatever you're doing very well, because you never know where that thing that you are doing very well is going to take you. So that's my encouragement. Wrapping up quickly before we hit the 20-minute mark. Have a great week. Love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Do that thing very well. Whether I be baking cupcakes, making muffins, baking brownies, baking cookies, making tapache, sewing bags, sewing clothes, doing massages, do that thing very well. You don't know what rooms your name is being mentioned in front of whom your name might be mentioned in, and it might be in rooms that you had nowhere in your imagination you thought that you would enter those rooms. The same thing happened to the Shunammite woman. Gehazi was talking about the Shunammite woman and her experience and how God raised her son from the dead. And by the time she got there to go in to beg back for her land that she had to leave for 7 years, Gehazi said, look, the woman, there's the woman I'm telling you about. Even before she got there, her name was mentioned in rooms that she didn't even step foot in as yet. So ensure that you do that thing, whatever that thing is, very well, so that when your name is mentioned, you will be well spoken of. And it will open doors to positions and places that you nowhere in your wildest dreams that this would have been possible. Do that thing very well. Have a great week, guys.